Last round featured Braeden Banci's improbable record-setting third win in a row, and suddenly Post's championship is all but certain. The thrilling conclusion next.
You are watching the RRLRC Car Backyard Racing League.
Welcome to the two-wheel drive buggy backyard RC championship race. I'm your host, Cam Cullen, alongside Roach RC. Before we giddy up, let's catch up with the Hobbit.
I feel pretty good. I tested the car and it works good. The track's definitely different now. It's very slippery because it's cold this morning. The jump also changed, so it's a lot easier. It's not so hard on the car when you hit it. But if you come at it wrong at all, it's really bad.
I had a lot of confidence in the beginning of the season, obviously, when I won, but then as the season progressed, people stepped up. I just have to have a really good run today in order to make sure I stay on the podium or maybe even climb up a spot or two. Going in, you want to have the math right and figure, okay, who do I have to beat? But again, that shouldn't change the way you drive. You just have to always do your best and hope for the best and, prepare for the worst.
The Backyard RC Championship race is presented by amainhobbies.com. Amazing deals, discounts, coupons, and free shipping on eligible orders. And by 2WD RC Racing, your RC car parts reimagined. Click the links in the description to learn more. Looking back here at last year's inaugural two-wheel drive buggy championship race, and now looking ahead to today, you fans voted for Braeden Banci to win the championship by a whopping percentile. Today's A-Main Hobby starting grid features defending champion Post in top qualifying position for the first time since round 2, and Braeden Banci, TQ for the last 3 races, will start in second, followed by Bonhomme, myself, and George Banci. Around turn 1, all 5 buggies go through the technical section now. It's Post over the jump, and a mistake for him. He's on his little Nita Marshall. Banci takes position, just what he talked about in the open. This modified jump section, it's critical that you hit it right or else it'll cause all sorts of problems. George Banci also got the jump wrong, but here's his son leading early. Oh, and he's on his lid. Bonhomme now to the point. Post also in trouble at the jump landing zone. Joining us now from northern Georgia, it's RC racer and YouTuber Roach RC.
Thanks for having me here, Cameron. I've been really liking your content for a lot of while, so when I got that DM asking me to do a commentary with you, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do that today.
So what's your experience with two-wheel drive buggy?
Two-wheel drive would be considered my safe place, I guess you could say. I started out with a two-wheel drive buggy at AJC Speedway. Rest in peace.
Very cool. Hey, what do you make of this tabletop incident?
Well, it looks like Japanese managed to get all 4 wheels on the actual tabletop, but looks like Braeden tried to push a little bit too much and got caught just on the top of the tabletop with his rear wheels.
Over 1 minute down as we see our leader Bonhomme get a little squirrely around the last turn. That'll help Post and Banci. Today's cooler temps have called for tire changes throughout the grid. Bonhomme on open cell double Ds, Post on open cell blockades, and Banci on open cell goosebumps. As Post now makes a charge for first, he gets the pass. Post to the point.
I couldn't hold him off. I have no steering.
Bonhomme now drops to third, but only for a moment. Trouble around the jump.
Braeden making a mistake on the tree on the tabletop once again.
Us racers could have referenced your Just the Basics RC Tires YouTube video, Roach. How would you describe to viewers your video style?
Very laid back. Usually people have a lot of rock and roll on their videos. I chose jazz. Why? Because I really, really like jazz.
Hey, that's what sets you apart from the rest. 2 minutes down, and everyone's trying to catch back up to Brent Post. He's had a few bobbles early, but his B6.3D has picked up the pace.
And I'm got loose, and it looks like that was just enough for Post to make a pass.
League veteran Brent Post in 4 starts at this track. He has 3 wins, and his third place finish came back in round 3. He lost to both Banci and Bonhomme. Post running some very tight lap times.
Especially on a track this small and on a track this loose, any type of mistake is going to be very big, exactly like that. Especially with these two-wheel drive buggies that can't get over the pipes.
Roach, you've been in plenty of high-stake races yourself. How real are those nerves?
They are very real, especially when you come into a series and just like completely demolish people from the get-go. You are definitely having those nerves, and you are absolutely also a target.
The sands of time are running out for this young amateur Braeden Banci. He's hit everything but the lottery this afternoon.
Looks like he's having some issues this run, but let's see if he can make up some time, because I know he's been able to make up some time in the past before.
Halfway home in the backyard championship, Banci looking to make a move by on Bonhomme, having a hard time doing that. This is all helping Post out in first, because when you get caught up in the garbage, you can get stuck there. But here's a pass by Banci to take second place.
Let's see if he manages to make this jump one more time. And up.
Pure frustration for Team Banci. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell to RRLRC. I'm no televangelist, but it's what Jesus would have wanted. Roach, what comes first for you? RC car racing or YouTube?
I'd say an RC racer first, definitely. Usually I like to just go to the different events and just not worry about recording or anything like that. I may have my GoPro on, just racing in general, just so I can get some decent B-roll footage. But lots of times I just like to go and race, just have fun, which is exactly what this is.
About 2 minutes to go, and this one's just been all post.
He's about 10 seconds ahead of Bonhomme. Looks like Bonhomme's really going to have to make up some time, and if Post doesn't make a mistake, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, like father, like son, that's George over the tabletop with a hard crash to his left rear. This could be terminal damage for his Kyosho RB7.
That's got to be heartbreaking, especially for these Kyosho 10-scale buggies, with most of their 10-scale program being discontinued.
Let's hope he's all right. It's been a great off-road season, especially for his son, and a lot of credit has to go to George for getting Braeden's cars up to speed. Meanwhile, it's beginning to look like another gold for Post. Roach, you've been in the winner's circle before. How would you describe that feeling?
It feels like a giant lump is just off of your shoulders. It's a great feeling.
Do you have any win that you're most proud of?
My most proud moment was beating the same person who came up and ruined my series race one time, named Chris Van Air.
Whoa, name dropping. How many times did you beat him?
Once.
And how many times you race him?
At least 50 times.
Well, you can hang your hat on that one win. Switching gears, the anxious quiet has settled in on the track for Banci. He's looking to get his lap back from Post and then challenge Bonhomme for second. This last minute is presented by A-Main Hobbies, your #1 trusted source for all your RC racing needs. Roach, you plan on attending any upcoming major events?
Well, actually, there's another one coming up this month, specifically the North Georgia Shootout. I won't call it that because YouTube doesn't like the word shootout, but we're going to be doing a series called How I Got Good, specifically with 8th scale.
Looking forward to that coverage. Banci on the heels of second.
Looks like the goosebump actually worked against him there for a little bit, getting him out of the groove. It whipped the right rear end right back out and hit him right into the pole.
That'll do it for any second place chances for Banci. Time dwindles down. Our leader, Brent Post, check him for a pulse because he's been unconscious out there.
Looks like the 6.3 was really surprisingly good on this extremely loose track.
Here's the last lap indicator. This race in this series for the second year in a row belongs to the Speed King, Brent Post. He somehow held off the hard charger Braeden Banci and the rest of the field. Roach, what do you make of the 3D RCA main results?
It doesn't matter how fast you are at one lap, you need to do it over and over and over again, and that's exactly what Brent posted.
You know, for lack of how long the jump has been there and the change they made to it, it worked out. For me, at least, it worked out perfectly. It's the only practice I got all year was making the jump angles good, so I think it was a success.
What a series, and how about Banci with the fast lap?
Definitely see him driving for a lot longer and a lot better.
And here's the final standings after the points drop. Roach, is this surge by Banci rare?
Actually, surprisingly, no. Depending on who actually comes into a points race and where they're from and what they're good at, they can really make waves. And Braeden seems to be really good at that.
It's time now for the trophy presentation. Brent Post, your top qualifier with the fast lap tiebreaker. He takes home the TQ. Third place, Captain Consistency, Jack Bonhomme, steady all year. Young Braeden Banci, a bright smile and a bright future in second. And the Speed King, Brent Post, your winner.
At the end, it's just like, whatever happens, happens, and I kind of lose, like, caring, essentially. During the race in the season, I'm like, oh, I'm down this much, I gotta do this, and I put too much pressure on myself for literally no reason. I just take the pressure off, I'm like, whatever happens, happens. Went with that mindset, and it worked out for me.
2WD Buggy, I was doing well early on, but that one bad break I had in round 2 at Red Hawk definitely cost me because that was my throwaway in 4th place. So had I not finished poorly there, that might have changed my standings. Young Braeden, he definitely came out of nowhere. I honestly think had he been in the series from the very beginning, I definitely would not be in my podium positions because he was definitely on fire.
I didn't get the win, but it was fine. I started 2 races late in the season, so getting second place was perfectly fine with it. It's nice because there's all the fast guys that go to the other tracks that I go to racing against me. We all get to go faster together. I definitely learned more car control. I seriously believe that.
Roach RC, you're the man. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much for having me on, Cam. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Until next time, friends, this is Cam Cullen, signing off.